Hey everyone, and welcome back to the consulting game. I'm Negar, and today we're talking about something you've probably asked yourself more than once this week. Should I stay in my job and try and make it work, or is it finally time to move on and do something else? This question usually hits at about 9 p.m. when you're still online trying to finish off a deck. Or maybe it comes up during a leadership meeting and you look around and you wonder, is this what I want? If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, on the edge of burnout, but you're also terrified of walking away from everything you know and everything you've built, then this episode is for you. This is what I've learned after coaching dozens of mid career consultants and leaders. The worst time to make a career decision is when it's emotionally driven. I'll repeat that. The worst time to make a career decision is when it's emotionally driven. The best decisions come when you ask the right questions from a place of power and not from panic and fear. So today I'm going to walk you through 5 questions. I call it the 5 question litmus tests. These questions are designed to help you slow things down, zoom out, and get really honest with yourself. And the reason is it'll help you decide what's next, not based on a spiral of emotions, but based on strategy, values, and data. I'm going to help you answer the question, should I stay or should I leave? But more than that, it's about whether you're leading your career in a strategic way. So you're being the CEO of your career, or are you letting external circumstances and situations and emotion lead you? The first question is, am I growing or am I just grinding? You're probably working hard. I don't doubt that for a second. But is that hard work developing you or is it just draining you? There's a difference between stretching and straining. Look, growth does feel uncomfortable. That's the truth. Growth is uncomfortable. I always tell my clients discomfort is the currency for growth. It's that feeling of this is tough, but I know I'll be better for it energy. Do you get that? You're stretching your thinking, you're building capability. You can actually feel yourself getting sharper, braver, and wiser. Grinding, on the other hand, that's when everything feels like effort. There's dread, there's fatigue, there's frustration. You're doing the work, but it feels like it's chewing through you. Some days you're probably one passive aggressive email away from calling the doctor and asking for stress leave. Here's an analogy that I use with my clients. Stretching yourself feels like lifting a weight at the gym. You're challenged, but there's purpose to it. You're building muscle, you're getting stronger, you're building strength. But grinding feels like you're trying to push a car up a hill with no fuel and no direction. I worked with a client, let's call him John. John came to me saying, I just don't care about work anymore. I felt flat. I've got no purpose. He was just exhausted and drained. He thought maybe he needed a sabbatical, some time off, a different project. But when we looked closer, he wasn't emotionally broken. He was just bored out of his mind. He wasn't learning anything. He couldn't remember the last time he did something that stretched him. Everything had become rinse and repeat in the delivery that he was doing. There was no creativity, there was no edge. And once he saw that clearly, and once he started to correct his career and started looking for roles that were more aligned to the areas he wanted to get into, the energy started to come back. We mapped out three areas that were very specific to him that we could explore. And that was looking at potentially different industries that he could work in within his consulting firm. He wanted to change his leadership style in a way that would stretch him and challenge him. And he started looking at doing a mentorship role in his firm. After a few weeks, because he was initiating conversations that actually excited him, he started getting that motivation back, that energy, that dread started to leave him. It didn't feel like rinse and repeat. So I want you to ask yourself, am I growing or am I just grinding it out because I don't know what else to do? And I want you to be specific. Look for evidence, not just a feeling. I want you to look at hard data. Where are you being stretched right now? Are you not being stretched? Now, the second question I want you to ask yourself is, do I respect the person I'm becoming in this career? This one's going to sting a little, and honestly, it should. I want you to look beyond your title, beyond your package, whatever you're getting compensated, benefits, etc., beyond your LinkedIn title. You're in a high performance, high pressure environment like consulting. It's really easy to become someone you didn't actually plan to be. So I want you to ask yourself, if I keep doing what I'm doing, keep working how I'm working, keep leading the way I've been leading, will I become a version of myself that I respect? Or will I look back in a few years and think, I lost something really important along the way? Look, this happened to me. I was doing back-to-back change programs, transformation programs, high expectations. On paper, that all looks great. But I remember walking into a leadership meeting, looking around and thinking, this is not who I want to be. This isn't what I want to model myself on. When I looked up, I did not see myself. Look, it was a quiet misalignment. It wasn't one of those dramatic light bulb moments or anything like that. It was this quiet misalignment, I call it. And it started to eat away at me. It started to eat away at my energy, my confidence as a leader, and my relationships at work. And obviously, we're all human, so we bring a lot of that home. But in the organization, I had seen glimpses of a different kind of leadership, a leadership that was more aligned to what I wanted. Leaders who didn't sacrifice themselves and their family time to prove they were committed. Leaders who didn't just have well-being conversations, but actively made space for them and made space for people to be able to come to them. Leaders who looked you in the eye and asked, how are you doing? Really? How are you feeling? Leaders who supported you, not because it was in some training, but because they actually cared about the human in front of them. That's when I asked, how do I become the leader that I needed when I was coming up through my career? And from that place, I started to change things. Because look, respect isn't about what others see. It's about what you see when you check in with yourself. So remember, your most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. The third question is staying about strategy or safety. Now, this is a big one, and it's a question most people don't want to answer honestly. So I want you to ask yourself, am I staying in this role, in this job, in this career, because it serves bigger career strategy? Or am I staying because it feels too scary or too exhausting to explore? There's nothing wrong with leaving or staying, but it needs to be intentional. If that decision is helping you build towards something meaningful, positioning yourself in a particular way, branding yourself in a particular way, building credibility, or creating breathing room before a pivot that you're going to make or some life event that's going to come up, amazing. That's a strategy. But if it's because you don't want to update your CV, or you're scared of doing something new, or you can't imagine who you'd be without your company's name on your LinkedIn profile. That's not a strategy. That's fear. And fear often pretends to be logic, my friends. I want to say something. Inaction is still an action. Staying is a decision too. So you think you're delaying the decision of leaving or staying, but actually by staying and not taking action, you've actually made a decision. But I suppose inaction sometimes feels easier to justify because it doesn't need movement, but it does come with consequences too. One of the reasons my clients ignore this question or they delay it endlessly is because facing the truth takes effort and it takes action. And effort can feel uncomfortable. That move, that uncertainty, that fear, that can all feel uncomfortable. But think about this. You're uncomfortable where you are now. And sometimes that discomfort of staying where you are is far worse than what you imagine a change would feel like. You think you're playing it safe, and my clients think they're playing it safe by doing nothing. But the reality is they're staying in pain. Now, I want to be very clear on something. I don't always suggest that a move is required. When I say making a change or a move, it's just about sitting down, facing your fears, putting a plan together, understanding what your needs are, understanding what you want, and strategically planning a way forward. That might be a lateral move, that sideways move in your company. That might be realigning yourself in your consulting function to a different function, to a different industry. So it's not always about just leaving, but you can't create that strategy and that plan until you've sat down and asked yourself some of these questions. So I want you to ask yourself, is the decision to stay or leave rooted in strategy, or is it coming from a place of fear? And if it's fear, that doesn't mean you have to quit tomorrow. It just means it's time to get honest and start doing that deeper work. Okay, question 4. What would I tell a friend in my exact situation? This one's really good, right? And you can use it for different situations. But in this situation, when it's our own life and our own career, the self-talk can be brutal. You second guess everything, you justify things that don't feel good, you settle, or you put up with things that you shouldn't. But when it's someone you love going through the exact same thing, suddenly you become this very compassionate and you've loads of perspective and ideas and value to give to that person. So imagine this. Close your eyes. Your closest friend, an amazing, capable leader, consultant, is in your exact situation. She or he is unsure, they're burned out, they're bored, they're losing confidence. They're worried about disappointing others if they make the wrong move or if they make a move. What would you say to her? Would you tell her to just hang in there and hope things magically get better and hopefully she can just stick it out for 6 months? Would you tell her to ignore that whisper in her gut that's saying, you need to do something here? Would you say, sure, who cares if you're happy or not? You only spend 40 to 50 hours a week in work anyway. You wouldn't say that to them. You'd say, you deserve to be happy. You would ask them some questions. You would help them through it. And here's what this question reveals. You already know what to do. You've just been too hard on yourself. And you're probably just scared to do it. And maybe it just feels like too much effort. Okay, the last question, and one of the most important ones, is if nothing changes in the next 6 to 12 months, how will I feel? So let's time travel here for a moment. Imagine it's a year from now You're in the same job, same team, same pace, same stress. You've had the should I leave or should I stay conversation with yourself probably 187 times at this stage. You're still rationalizing, you're still spinning, you're still stuck. How do you feel? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel proud? Do you feel proud that you've held out and made it work? Or are you quietly disappointed? Maybe even a little regretful or resentful? One thing we don't often talk about is we're so afraid of making the wrong move that we don't consider the cost of making no move at all. And that, my friend, is the cost of inaction. When people say to me, I just want clarity, what they really want is relief from the anxiety of being stuck. They don't want a pros and cons list. They want peace of mind, a clear direction, confidence about their next step. Getting clarity on what to do doesn't just show up magically, right? You actually have to do some work. You have to earn it. So there you have it. 5 powerful, deceptively simple questions. And notice the way I say simple. They're not easy questions, but they're simple questions to ask yourself. Questions that, if you really sit with them, will help you identify what the next move needs to be, what your next best step is. What I really want you to take away from this episode is that this isn't just about should I quit or stay? This is about you leading your career, being the CEO of your career. Instead of letting emotions and situations and circumstances lead you down a path that's not right. And if you've been looping through the same doubt, second guessing your every thought, or just feeling quietly dissatisfied in a role that just doesn't light you up anymore, it's time. It is time to stop swirling and start to lead your career, which is exactly why I have created my upcoming webinar. It's called Reset Your Consulting Career. It's a proven framework that I'm going to take leaders through who are at crossroads. So this is very much mid-career, senior career consulting individuals. It's happening on Friday, May 9th at 12 midday. Okay. And that's Irish time or British summer time. In this session, in this webinar, I'm going to take you through a decision framework. We're going to look at what's really keeping you stuck, what your best options actually are, and how you're going to move forward without compromising your success, your financial status, your sanity, your title, or anything like that. Because there is a cost to your inaction, and we've just covered it. And I don't want that for you. So come and join me. It's free, it's live, and it might just be the most valuable hour you spend on yourself this year. You'll find the link in the show notes, or just head over to my LinkedIn and I'll have it there. Remember, you get to lead your career, so stop waiting for clarity to arrive and go create it.